Hi, Roy from Upsolver here. In this video, I want to show you how to stream application events from Kafka, hosted and managed by Confluent Cloud, to Snowflake. Upsolver is a self-serve cloud data ingestion service for high-scale workloads like real-time fine-grained analytics, application event streams, and AI and ML training. It only takes a few minutes to connect Confluent Cloud and start loading events into Snowflake. Once running, there's really nothing for you to do. So let's see how that works. In the Upsolver console, we can see that we already have an ingestion job. This job is sourcing data from Confluent Cloud and writing that data into Snowflake. So let's see how to create a job like this. We're going to click the new job icon. And in the wizard that comes up, we're going to select Confluent Cloud as a source, Snowflake as a target. Click Next. And now we get to choose whether to connect to an existing connection available in Upsolver that allows you to connect to Confluent Cloud or create a new connection. When creating a new connection, we need to insert our bootstrap servers. We can choose whether we want SSL authentication using the API keys and your secret key, and then you can add some additional consumer properties if you wanted to. We're just going to use the connection we already have. Upsolver automatically detects the topics that are available for you in a Kafka stream. So we're just going to pick the user info topic, and we automatically detect those events. So we already have some events. We can browse those events here. We can see what's going on, and we're happy with those events. We click Next. Now we want to connect to Snowflake. Similar to the source, we can either use an existing connection that maybe somebody already created for us in Upsolver, or we can create a new connection if we choose to do so. In this case, we're going to use the existing one. We're going to pick our schema to write the data into, and then we're going to write the data into a user info table in Snowflake. Click Next. And here we get to choose whether we want to start reading events from now, when the job starts running, or from the earliest events available in the Kafka stream. And this depends on your retention policy on Kafka. We also can configure how frequently we want to update data in Snowflake. Because this is a streaming pipeline, data can be updated anytime, typically very often. But we may not want to load data into Snowflake all the time. So we may choose to say, let's update it once an hour. But in our case, we're just going to do once a minute. We also expose a column called Upsolver Event Time, and you can rename this column here. And this is a globally incrementing timestamp that is inserted into each row that Upsolver loads into the Snowflake target table. So if you're building a dbt incremental models or doing incremental transformations, you can rely on this timestamp to always be globally incrementing and always be inserted into the data. So you can rely on this when you do an incremental loading, as opposed to using application controlled, updated by columns or things like that. We can also enable deduplication, and in this case, I'm going to select the user ID as our primary key to do deduplication. Upsolver has a unique way of managing state, so you can actually maintain very large windows of state. So in this case, we're going to keep 1 day of state to be able to do deduplication. We're also going to select which columns we want to include. In this case, we want to leave the password, but let's say that we want to, for example, we want to mask this password, right? We also have some basic data quality expectations that you can set from the UI. So in this case, we're going to set a not null expectation, and if that is met, then we will warn. We'll create a warning, and then you'll see that. If you want to have more complex data expectations, you can actually switch to our SQL interface and add those to the job after the fact. We click Next, and now we see the SQL that's actually generated for us behind the scenes. And Upsolver will execute this SQL to be able to deploy your pipeline. So if you wanted to, you can take this code and you can deploy it into GitHub for version control. You can use it for testing in the lower environments. So it's very useful to have this here to be able to understand what was created for you. So I'm not going to create this because we already created this job. But if we go here, we see this job. This job is already pushing data into Snowflake. So if we switch to our Snowflake environment, we can just rerun this query, and we can see that we have all of our data here. There's credit card, all that information. Our password is masked. Here's the Upsolver event time. And that is pretty much it. So if you want, give it a try right now. Go to upsolver.com or sqllake.upsolver.com, sign up, and then follow along with the instructions, and you're off on your way. Thank you so much for your time.